Ford is in big trouble. They just stopped the shipment of what was supposed to be their high demand trucks. We're gonna go out here, we're gonna slash prices again because we don't want to be stuck with any of these cars. You got anything to say about that?
That's it.
That's
Don't want
it.
any cars left.
There's not one of these vehicles out here on this Nissan lot that has any kind of markups. Now, this is what our lot looks like. Okay, we had to know this was coming, but Ford has halted the shipments of the 2024 F-150 Lightnings. These are trucks that, when they came out, they said they had tons and tons and tons of orders. People wanted them, and they were going to be lining up to buy these trucks. These were trucks that had up to $35,000 market adjustments on them because the demand was so high for these vehicles. And now Ford has these 2024s that they can ship out. And they're not going to because dealers are turning them down. If you go to any Ford dealership across the country right now, what are you going to see? You're going to see F-150 Lightnings sitting everywhere. You're going to see Mach-E's sitting everywhere. These electric vehicles, they can't sell them. Ford is in bad shape when it comes to the EV market. They're going to have to lower their prices substantially. They're going to have to help dealers to be able to sell these vehicles. It's already a relationship that's been strained because of these EVs. A lot of these dealers did not want to take these allocations. They don't want to set up their dealership to be able to have a lot of these EVs on them. And now it's backfiring in Ford's face because they can't sell them to consumers. Dealers don't want them, and now they're going to have to sit around and keep these F-150s instead of trying to shove them down these dealers' throats because at this point, the dealers, they can't take them anymore. They're running out of room, and they can't sell them. So literally right now, we have like 12 cars left for sale. We've got about 20 that are we still have to either work on or get them cleaned up or whatever, ones that we bought recently. But you see on that hill up there, we're out. We have nothing left, and it's going to be really slow for us over the next month or so because we're not going to be able to restock the vehicles that we've already sold. And the reason being is because prices are just too high at auction right now. And to tell you the truth, we're not worried. We're going to let all these other dealers go and load up and pay too much for their cars, and then after they do that, then we'll go in and pounce after the prices come down. But we've actively through these last couple weeks, as money's rolled in through tax time, we have slashed our prices every few days to get rid of these cars. We know what happens in the market. We know what a regular car market looks like, and that's what we're entering into right now. And we know that after tax time's done, money runs out. You're going to see a lot of dealers that get themselves into trouble because they're going to keep their prices high because they think the money's going to keep on coming because they've been accustomed to the last 3 years and how the car market has looked. But that car market, it doesn't exist anymore. And a lot of these dealers, they're going to have a rude awakening, and they're going to know what a real car market looks like. And I feel bad for them, but hopefully they'll mold and they'll move accordingly and quickly. If they don't move quickly, they're going to get stuck. So the EV market is in bad shape, and not only does the car market know it, but now tech giants know it too. Apple, who for years have been planning on coming out in the EV space, has now decided they're not doing it. And what Apple is seeing is that, okay, we see a Tesla that's actually making some money on their cars, but no one else is. And they can look at somebody like Ford and see that they are just hemorrhaging money in this EV space. And Apple is a company that wants to make money. They are a company that wants to have very high profit margins. And guess what? In the EV space, it's very, very difficult to do that. Apple knows it, and that's why they're not going into the space anymore. So what we have Nate doing right now is he is actually marking down some cars again because we don't want to get stuck with any of these cars. So as soon as we see any of this tax money slow down a little bit, which has slowed down just a little bit over the last 2 days, we're going to go out here and we're going to slash prices again because we don't want to be stuck with any of these cars. You got anything to say about that?
That's it. Don't want any cars left.
That's what. So we're getting rid of everything because we know prices are going to be cheaper after all this tax money moves through the system, after these dealers get overexposed, and we are going to sell all of our cars and basically just reset our whole lot. So Ford Mach-E sales tumbled 51% in January. And so what has Ford done to try to help dealers out? They're knocking off $8,100 off of these Mach-E's. But I can tell you that that's not going to be enough. That's not going to move these Mach-E's that are sitting everywhere. I would assume that you could probably go get a Mach-E right now for probably $10,000 to $15,000 off. And even at that price point, you probably still don't want to buy it. And I always go back to this point. Why would you buy a Mach-E when you can get the better technology for a cheaper price in the Tesla? And I can assure you that there are other consumers that are looking at these electric vehicles and they're thinking the same thing. Why would they buy a Mach-E? Ford is in bad shape with these Mach-E's, these Ford Lightnings, and they cannot sell them, and they're going to continue to sit on lots. And I know what lot rot does to your standard ICE vehicles, but I have no clue what it's going to do to these EVs. If it affects them in any sort of way, these Mach-E's, they are down with the lot rot right now. That's exactly what's happening to these Mach-E's. Because a lot of them, you can still go and you can find a 2022 Mach-E sitting on a dealer's lot somewhere. That is now over 2 years old. Still sitting there, not selling, and the prices are not going to be able to get low enough. And I would doubt that Ford and these dealerships are going to be able to knock the prices down low enough to be able to sell a lot of these electric vehicles, that they're just continue to stack up on these dealer lots. All right, so we got all of these cars back here. These are the ones that we bought in the last week or so, and we're getting them ready. We need to push them out as quickly as possible because we want to make sure we get these things sold before the tax money runs out. But the bad thing right now is these are probably the last cars we're going to be able to buy for a few weeks. What we've noticed in the last week is there are a lot more dealers that are they're showing up at auctions right now. So they're doing the same thing that we did a couple weeks ago, and they're trying to get more inventory now when they see money rolling in, but they're late. They're late because they should have bought these cars weeks ago. Now they're trying to load up now. Prices going up at auction. We've already seen it. So these are probably the last cars that you're going to see us with here in the next few weeks. And hopefully we're just going to sell out everything in about 2 weeks or so. And I'm going to be able to show you a big empty lot. It's already almost empty. You know what? Actually, I'll show you right now. All right, here you go. You see all this behind me? 7 days ago, this was filled with cars everywhere right here. You couldn't even walk in between a lot of these cars. There were rows and rows and rows. We had 4 total rows of cars. Now we're down to just this one row right here, and we shouldn't fill up this dirt area anymore for the next probably 2 months, because as soon as we get a few cars in, if we're able to buy a couple here and there, they're going to get sold all along the front. I know you can't see. I'm not going to turn around because we got a sign right there. But all along the front right here, we would have probably, let's see here, about 12 cars on our front line, and we have 4 sitting up there now. So it just looks like ghost town around here. We got to rearrange some stuff to make it look a little bit better. But yeah, where there were tons and tons of cars, now no cars. So dealers are now becoming concerned that manufacturers are wanting to find different ways to get consumers vehicles other than the traditional dealership model, and really they should be concerned. So there was a survey put out recently by Automotive News that showed that dealers were really worried about this partnership that Amazon and Hyundai have formed to be able to just give a different way for consumers to buy vehicles. And really dealers should be concerned about this. This is just the early innings of manufacturers finding different paths to be able to get consumers vehicles. But what we know is that the dealership model is really broken. And that's because manufacturers really can't set the rules as far as what they want to happen to the pricing of these vehicles that they're trying to get to consumers. If a manufacturer wants to lower the MSRP, we can use Ford as an example. Lately, on a lot of their EVs, they've greatly reduced the prices on the MSRPs of their EVs. But we still see that a lot of these dealers are still wanting to put add-ons, put market adjustments on top of even these vehicles that aren't selling very well. And it really takes any of this pricing power out of the hands of the manufacturers. And there's nothing that these these manufacturers can do, because there's a lot of legislation out there that protects these dealers to be able to do really whatever they want, and the manufacturers' hands are tied. But now, if manufacturers are figuring out ways, and this Amazon partnership is an easy way for them to do it, to be able to really get around dealers and control some of the pricing power that is in dealers' hands right now, then yeah, this should be a big worry for dealers, because a lot of their profit margin, a lot of their ways of making money are by gouging customers. And this is not good for manufacturers, because dealers can really give the names of these manufacturers. They can really just step all over it if they treat their customers in a way that the manufacturers don't seem fit. And the easy way is these add-ons, these ridiculous fees, nitrogen, all this stuff that dealers want to add on to increase their profit margins, and the manufacturer's really not getting a piece of any of this. And the manufacturer would rather just be able to set a price on this vehicle and be able to sell it to a consumer. But right now, the way that the laws are set up, they can't do that. But they're going to continue to find creative ways to be able to go around these dealerships. And that's what this survey is really picking out, is that dealers are worried about this, because really, if dealers have to be competitive against the manufacturers or someone like Amazon, who is going to be able to provide better pricing than an actual dealership would, and not add on all these extra the fees, the add-ons that these dealerships want to put on, then that's going to make these dealerships have to bring a lot of these fees off. It's going to have to make these dealerships lower a lot of their prices to be competitive, and this is not good for the bottom lines for these dealerships. And even during crazy times when we're selling a lot of cars, there's still some cars that we bought wrong, or we're pricing them wrong or something. I don't know. We were trying to sell this Camry for $5,000. It seems nice. It seems like a good price for this car, and I'm surprised we didn't even have anybody test drive. So it's not like there's anything wrong with this car. It's just nobody would buy it. It's a Camry. It's for $5,000, but it didn't sell for that, so we got to adjust. Nate just marked it down to $4,000. So now it should sell at this point. All right, so now this is what our lot looks like, right? No cars for sale. Those over there, we just got those in, so they're waiting on us to actually repair them, so they're not for sale yet. But yes, over the last couple weeks, what we've done is we've moved through almost all the cars that we've had for sale, and there's a good reason for that. It's because all the cars that we sell are $5,000 or under. And what we're seeing in the market right now is there is a big split, there's a big divergence between who's actually able to sell vehicles right now and who's not. And what we're finding is that dealers that are selling stuff that's more expensive will look at cars that are in that $10,000, $15,000 or over. Those dealers are having a really hard time, and we're seeing new car dealers that are selling, we'll give an example of Ford, like these big F-150s, the big three, the Rams, all these big trucks that are $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. They're not moving right now. We're seeing them stacking up on lots, and even hearing reports of trucks just sitting up in Michigan right now, not selling. And there's an easy way to know why that's going on, and that's because of affordability. And with the monthly payments being at the highest that they've ever been, people are seeking a cheaper way to actually be able to get transportation. And this is why you can see a dealership like mine thrive. We sell everything, and then you see reports of other dealerships that are having the worst time that they've ever had trying to sell their vehicles. Even so much so that a lot of these new franchise dealers are begging these manufacturers to do something to help them sell their vehicles. All right, so we got wholesale numbers from Cox Automotive for the first half of February. They're out now, and it shows that wholesale prices creeped up just a little bit. Now, we've been on this downtrend over the last few months, and it's not really a surprise to me that we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in wholesale prices right now because we're going into spring selling season. In fact, we're there now, and our dealership, as you've seen in a lot of these videos, we've been selling like crazy. And a lot of other dealers are experiencing this, and that's going to cause wholesale prices to creep up a little bit. Now, what's surprising to me is that they haven't gone up further. And typically around this time of the year, we'll see more of a spike, influx in pricing. And for it to just tick up just a little bit in the first half of February, that's telling me that there are a lot of dealers out there that are not able to prepare for what's coming and what we're experiencing now. These dealerships didn't prepare, and what that's going to cause wholesale prices to do is spike even harder than they traditionally would if selling season is good. Now, we're getting a lot of reports that tax refunds are going to be a lot less than what they have been over the previous years, so time will tell. But if we do get any kind of increase in demand, any buying pressure from the consumer, because dealers, what it looks like, we're not preparing for this to happen because wholesale prices just ticked up a little bit, then it's going to cause more of them to rush to the auction in a larger capacity, which if you get more buying demand from dealers at these auctions, then it causes wholesale prices to spike even harder because our inventory is still down at auctions. Reason being is because new car dealers, they supply these auctions that we go to, they supply them from their trade-ins. But we know that they're not selling a lot of new vehicles right now, so that means fewer trade-ins. Fewer trade-ins means fewer vehicles at the dealer auction level, which means less supply for the dealers to buy. Less supply, high demand. You see what I'm saying here? Prices are going to go up if we get this buying pressure from consumers because of spring selling season. All right, so I'm out here at a Nissan dealership, and I gotta show you something. We're going to look at one of these stickers. There you go. What do you notice? We got our MSRP here. You don't see anything else. You see no market adjustment. You see no dealer add-on. You see no nitrogen. I hate nitrogen. There's not one of these vehicles out here on this Nissan lot that has any kind of markups. And if you go to their website, you can actually see that they're selling stuff for under MSRP. And the reason I want to point this out is because I just want to tell you that there are dealerships that are out there that are selling vehicles for MSRP or back of MSRP, but you just got to find them. You got to find them. And I found one, and it's been my net Nissan here in Salisbury, North Carolina. And it's a dealership I've been to many, many times before, even when things were crazy and dealer inventories were not stacking up. This lot was half as full as it is now, and they still weren't charging anything over MSRP. There are good dealerships out there, even on the franchise level, but you just have to find them. This is one right here. This is one that I will endorse. They haven't paid me anything to come here and do this. I'm just showing you that there are dealerships out there that are trying to do the right thing by their customers. This is one right here, and if you search, not just in my area right here, but if you search around in your area, you can find one just like this. Be an informed buyer and know that the car market is getting worse. Inventory is stacking up. Even at good dealerships like this, they're still having a harder time selling vehicles. But you can find dealerships just like this one that are going to offer you a fair price for their vehicles, and this is where I want you to buy. I want you to buy at a place like this where you're not going to get gouged. Again, I will endorse this place. This is a good dealership. So I talk a little bit about what I do for fun, and I say that I'll play pickleball, I'll play disc golf, and a lot of times I get comments saying, well, what is disc golf? Well, this is disc golf right here, and it's very similar to traditional golf where you have a place where you start off from. There's a tee pad. This is where we tee off from. We throw our frisbees up here. This is a par 3, and you can see that basket way up there. We're trying to get our disc into that basket in 3 shots. If you get it in 2, it's a birdie. If you do it in 4, it's a bogey. Very similar to traditional golf. The difference is a lot of these courses that are set up across the country and a lot of these parks is that they're in the woods. So this hole is literally cut out in the middle of these trees, and we throw these little small pieces of plastic through the woods, try not to hit all the trees along the way, And at the end of the hole, it's that little basket. And we try to get the disc into the basket. And you have different discs, like discs that are supposed to fly farther. They're your drivers. You have mid-ranges, which is what it says. It's a middle kind of distance. Then you have putters. You actually have discs that are designed to be close to the basket and put them in. So that's what we're doing out here. And now you know, if you've ever asked about what disc golf is, this is what we do. And there are my buddies over there, and we're having a good round of disc golf in the woods. This cord's in the way. It's a lot of more. Well, so there's a lot of stuff. Oh, my voice. No. This whole clip's bad. Let's see here.